As everyone is rather knee-deep in preparations for Pesach, and there's so much scrubbing going on and so much endless shopping going on, and achanos, all the things that we are concerned with, be in place, proper place for the Sidorim that we will experience, for the wonderful Yom Tov that we will share with our families. I offer a simple recipe, but one that I feel is quite critical to the appropriate celebration of Zman Cheruseinu, the time of Pesach, our liberation from Mitzrayim, and our clinging to a Kodesh Baruch Hu, who takes us out of the sheep of Mitzrayim, ultimately, a simple ingredient formula that comes from the Sedra of VaYikra. The Psukim tell us in this week's Parsha, that all the meal offerings that are to be ultimately offered on the outer Mizbeach in the courtyard of a Kodesh Baruch Hu, of the Mishkan or the Beis HaMikdash, lo seyaseh chametz, can never be made out of yeast, can never be leavened. Any kind of yeast, and any kind of sweetness, any kind of honey, as it were, that comes from fruits, either from figs or from dates, lo saktiru mimenu isha ladonai, may never actually be placed upon the altar, upon the Mizbeach. Rather, when are these two ingredients brought to appear in the Beis HaMikdash and the Mishkan? Korban reishis hakrivu osam ladonai, on the Yom Tov of Shavuos, when they are brought, the shtei halechem, from the new crop of the new wheat, the two loaves of bread, one ultimately to be consumed by the Kohen Gadol and the other by the other Kohanim, and the Bikurim, the first fruits of the 7 fruits for which Eretz Yisrael is known, that are brought to the Kohen as well. But the Yom Mizbeach, but upon the altar as a sacrifice, lo ya'alu l'reach nechoach, they may never be brought as an aroma present to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why is this so? So the Kli Yakar offers a magnificent insight into these two things, into the Sa'ar and the Dvash, and I believe that these are the secret ingredients to the most wonderful, wonderful thing that we could avail ourselves of during the Yom Tov of Pesach. The Kli Yakar explains, Be'er hadvarim, ki chol adam yesh lo tava l'chol chemdos ha'olam hazeh. Everyone innately is born into the world with a sense of great desire, if not lust, for things that are sweet, that are devash in life, things that are wonderful to partake of, things that are enjoyable. And everyone in life must have a certain degree of that sweetness in order to be healthy, in order to feel oneself as not being catered to so much as being significantly employed within the service of a Kodesh Baruch Hu as a well-functioning human being and part of society, part of one's family. Similarly, says the Kli Yakar, the Sa'ar, the yeast, which is always representative of the Yetzer Hara, of one's evil inclination, why without the employment of the Yetzer Hara, then Lo haya adam ha'adam no se'isha, as Chazal stated in the Gemara, no one would ever get married. Lo bona bayis, and no one would ever build a household, and one would never have children and put up with children. And therefore, these two elements that are never introduced on the Mizbeach, they are brought during the Yom Tov of Shavuos, because the Yom Tov of Shavuos, of course, is v'lakachti eschem li la'am, v'yisi lachem lelokim, celebrates the granting of the Decalogue of the Seres HaDibros, and the Torah is the talent, is the spice of life, which gives succor, gives reason, gives ultimate flavor, and most importantly, ultimate direction to the chemdos hadvarim, to the wonderful, delicious, savory, sweet things in life that we need partake of, but in proper measure, but not in overabundance. And indeed, similarly, it is the Torah employed properly that enables us to use our Yetzer Hara given to us by a Kodesh Baruch Hu. B'chol levavchem shnei yitzrecha, we are supposed to use our Yitzrei Hara in proper and positive fashion to marry and to build and to learn more, to try to know more, and indeed to contribute to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as it were, in our avodas Hashem. On Pesach, when we are so busy with cleaning and scrubbing and getting rid of all chametz, and of course, the Balei Hasidus explained that we're supposed to be looking inside ourselves to get rid of the chametz inside ourselves. We need take a deep look by bedikas chametz in our own hearts, in our own minds, to see to it that these two things that are very much part of life, and they're supposed to be part of life, the honey of life, to be used in proper measure, in proper form, to sweeten our lives and the lives of others, but within a proper arena, as indeed both fortified, measured, and described and proscribed by the Torah Hakdosha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we are supposed to make use of our Yisrei Hara in order to make ourselves into more noble people, finer people, more refined individuals in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And isn't this really what Zman Cherusenu is really all about? There is no freedom for oneself, for one to pursue any and all sweetness in life, to make use of one's Yetzer Hara as one sees fit, without direction from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because such an individual is indeed yet in Mitzrayim, in servitude either to a foreign king or to oneself. But rather, Avadim Ayinu, the far b'Mitzrayim, v'achshav kervano hamakam lavodaso. We are avodim to Mitzrayim, and at times in life potentially avodim to ourselves and our own desires. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out to become His servants, to properly make use of the Dvash and properly make use of the Yetzer Hara, to see to it that the Sa'ar that is invested within us never rises to the degree that it becomes chametz, a corrosive force and corrosive nature in our lives, but rather employed in our avodas Hashem with the honey that makes our lives sweet, a honey that can only know its essence, its pleasure, and its taste when it's based upon the study of the Torah HaKadosha. Are you looking for a wonderful recipe for Pesach? It's the best recipe. Proper dvash, proper sa'ar, never offered on the Mizbeach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but given to us by God to use properly and effectively to enable us to have the greatest sense of freedom and the greatest sense of meaning in our daily lives. Have a wonderful Shabbos.